Guten Tag. I'm going to walk you through our lesson for today, Thursday, February 27th, 2014. We're going to be using verbs today in a way that is a little different than how we've done already. So first, let's take a look at how we use verbs in very basic sentences in German. If I have a sentence that says I go, which also means I am going, I'm going to start with ich, and then I break the Stamm, geh, off of gehen, and with ich, I'm going to end this in an E. Here's our S10-10 chart. Ich verbs always end in an E, so this becomes ich gehe. If I want to say he plays, I take spielen, break that to its Stamm, find what ends in, which is a T, and I'm going to put this at the end. Spielt. Then I have she goes. Again, we have gehen, break it down to its Stamm geh, and this is going to end in a T as well. Sie geht. Next I have we play. We've got spielen, break it down to its Stamm spiel. We've got wir ending in an en in our chart, so this becomes wir spielen, just like the infinitive, spielen. Next we have they go. Again we have geh as the Stamm here. This is the bottom Z now, this isn't this one. Sie, es, this is he, she, it. The bottom Z is you formal and they. So this becomes sie gehen, the same as the infinitive, gehen up here. Next we have you go. We have du. This is going to end in an ST. Du gehst. Boris goes. Ends in a T. Geht. I could also move this over to say Boris geht rather than Boris goes. I don't have to have start the sentence. It's just a good reminder that is replacing Boris, and that's how we find the T in the chart. Lexi plays is going to be sie, break spielen down to its Stamm, ended in a T, ended in a T, and this becomes sie spielt. Then we have ich und Mutti play, which is going to be replaced by wir. We've got spiel as the Stamm of play. Wir ends in an en, and we have wir spielen. Finally, Daniel and Franz go. I'm not talking to them, I'm talking about them, which is this bottom Z here. So we've got go, the Stamm of that is going to be geh rather than gehen, and sie gehen means Daniel and Franz go, and Daniel and Franz are going. Next we're going to talk about separable verbs. Unfortunately, German isn't quite as easy as just memorizing the S10-10 chart, though that's a great start. With separable verbs, we have some more action going on here. So for instance, we've got pictures on this left-hand side of Skilaufen, Basketball spielen, Fernsehen, Motorschlittenfahren, and mit Freunden treffen. These are great for infinitives, and they're great when sometimes this word goes to the end of the sentence, which we'll talk about later in our course. However, if I want to say I am skiing, we need to locate the verb. The verb in this case is not she. She is the thing. Skis are the thing here, not the verb. They're not what you do. Okay? So the thing, what you're actually doing on the skis, is going to be laufen. So if I make this into a sentence, instead of saying ich skilaufe, we're actually going to take the laufen off. That has to attach itself to the subject, so we have ich laufe, and then comes the she. Basketball spielen works much the same word. What's the part that you do? Do you basketball or do you play? Well, the answer is that you play. So instead of saying ich Basketball spielen or ich Basketball spiele, we want to look at spielen here and think spielt Sport or spielt Basketball. Okay, so we have the verb here matching the that's going to get the ending. Nothing has to happen to this other part here. Nothing has to happen to the basketball or the sport. Same thing in this next one. Watch TV. What's the verb? Watching or TV? You're right if you said watching. This is going to be sehen, and the word for TV is that fern. So to say that we are watching TV, we say wir sehen fern. Snowmobiling is the same thing. In English, we turn it into a verb, so you can say I snowmobile. But in German, snowmobile is the object, not what you do with it. Fahren is what you do. That has to come first, so you say Ich fahre Motorschlitten. The Motorschlitten detaches itself from the fahren, and it kind of goes to the end, as is doing in the sentence. Mit Freunden treffen is the same thing. If I want to say I'm hanging out with friends, I don't say I with friends hanging out, or they, in this case. Sie treffen mit Freunden. The treffen matches the sie, and then the mit Freunden goes after that. It's a good idea for you to go and practice how these verbs work a little bit on conjugamus before continuing. There are several verbs that take this characteristic in German, this separable characteristic. For instance, fahren, we learned, means to drive. There's a couple of different things that you can drive in German. You could drive a car, you could drive a bike, you could drive snowmobile. Ich fahre das Auto, ich fahre das Fahrrad, ich fahre Motorschlitten. In all cases, the infinitive here actually puts the red word first, but when you use it in a sentence, the black word comes first. That's what's most important to understand. Sehen is the German word for see. What can you see? For instance, you can watch TV, you can see films. Ich sehe fern, ich sehe Filme. Once again, the infinitive has the red word coming first, and in a sentence, you use the black word first, after the ich. Sammeln, we didn't talk about. This means to collect. You could collect stamps, Briefmarken, or you could collect coins, for instance, Münzen. So I could say, ich sammle Münzen, ich sammle Briefmarken. Different things you can do with run. Skilaufen is the most common. So again, with the infinitive, the red one comes first, she, and then the laufen. However, when we use this in a sentence, you would say, sie läuft Ski. And after that comes the red word she. Again, a couple of things that we can use. We can say we go to the movies or we go shopping. Again, if we see this as an infinitive, it's common for the red part to come first. Einkaufen gehen or ins Kino gehen. When we use this in a sentence, we say ich gehe einkaufen or ich gehe ins Kino. Next we have hören. What can we hear or listen to? Well, music is a good common one. So if I wanted to say I listen to music, ich höre Musik. Finally, spielen. Lots of different things that we can play. Klavier is piano, die Gitarre is guitar, ein Instrument, and Sport. If I wanted to say that I am playing any of these, I would start with ich spiele, and then after that comes what I'm playing. Ich spiele Klavier, ich spiele die Gitarre, ich spiele ein Instrument, ich spiele Sport, ich spiele Xbox, for instance, to name a few. Let's try a few examples. Make sure you pause this and give yourself enough time to try it out before you continue to see the answer. Our first example is I like to ride bike. If we're saying this in German, we're going to say ich fahre Fahrrad gern. That gern word at the end changes it to mean like instead of simply I ride bike. How about does he collect coins? If we're asking a question in German, we simply start with the verb. So if I say he collects coins, I'm going to say sammelt Münzen. If I'm asking does he collect coins, I'm saying sammelt Münzen. I use all the same words, I just flip-flop two of them around. How about she plays piano? Sie spielt Klavier. They like to ski. Sie laufen Ski gern. Or sie laufen gern Ski. We could also say sie fahren gern Ski, and fahren can work with Ski as well. I am listening to music. Ich höre Musik. Are you going to the movies? Again, if we ask a question, we have to flip-flop the subject and the verb. Gehst du ins Kino? If we were to say this as a statement, you are going to the movies, we use all of the same words here. And instead of saying gehst du ins Kino, and I want to say this as a statement, I'm going to say du gehst ins Kino. That's kind of commanding, you go to the movies. So again, the du in this case would go ahead and move to the first position, and then would come gehst. I'm not crossing out gehst there, you see that that's a nice little arrow. Okay, my dog plays basketball. Mein Hund spielt Basketball. Wouldn't that be entertaining? I am watching TV. Ich sehe fern. So as a review, these words here are separable verbs. What separable verbs do is they actually separate, with one word acting as a prefix in the infinitive. In the infinitive, the words stick together. Down below, I do have a slash in these words, but that typically won't be there. I just have it there to show you. When conjugated, so when we're using these in sentences, only the second part changes. The second part being, for instance, kaufen, fahren, sehen, laufen, and hören. The first part is the prefix, or the noun in this case, that goes to the end. Motorschlittenfahren, Ski, and Musik. So again, I would say ich höre Musik, not ich Musik höre. I hope that this makes sense. Please make sure that you ask me any questions that you might have when you get back to class, and follow the link on the website to practice on Conjuguemos. Auf Wiedersehen!